This is the latest explosive update on one of Africa's most dramatic political stories, a burial dispute that has captured headlines far beyond Zambia's borders and now threatens to set a dangerous precedent across the continent. The struggle over former President Edgar Lungu's final resting place has escalated into an international legal and political showdown, with new twists emerging just this week that could reshape how African nations handle presidential legacies. Edgar Lungu died on June 5, 2025, at age 68, in a South African hospital following complications after surgery, as reported by Reuters and other major outlets. But what should have been a moment of national unity has instead become a source of deep division, pitting his family against Zambia's government in a high-stakes conflict now playing out in a foreign courtroom, a scenario that would have been unthinkable just decades ago when African presidents were buried with unquestioned state honors. This isn't just a Zambian issue. Similar burial disputes have erupted across Africa, from Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe family feud with the state in 2019, to ongoing tensions over where former leaders should rest in Ghana and Kenya. What makes Lungu's case unprecedented is that it's the first time an African presidential burial dispute has moved to international courts, potentially setting new legal precedents for the entire continent. According to reports from the UK Guardian and BBC Africa, the Zambian government, led by President Hakainde Hichilema, insists that Lungu must receive a state funeral at Embassy Park, the official resting place for Zambia's past presidents. Officials argue it's a matter of national honor and constitutional protocol that cannot be compromised, especially given Zambia's democratic traditions. But Lungu's family, backed by his Patriotic Front Party, refuses. They cite fears of political persecution, claim that Lungu himself wished to be buried privately in South Africa, and insist on keeping President Hichilema away from the funeral. As a family spokesperson told Africa News, their primary concern is for a dignified ceremony, free from state control. The family also accuses the government of having initially denied Lungu permission to travel abroad for medical care, a charge the state vehemently denies. On June 25, 2025, as covered by News 24 South Africa, the Zambian government obtained an emergency order from the Pretoria High Court in South Africa. This court order halted the family's private burial plans just as mourners were preparing for the funeral, insisting the burial could not proceed until the legal dispute was resolved. This marked the first time in modern African history that one nation's courts would decide another nation's presidential burial. Then, in a major development on July 5, Zambia's Attorney General Malilo Kabesha appeared in the Pretoria High Court. According to BBC Africa, Kabesha argued that Zambia's constitution gives President Hichilema, not the family, the final say over a former president's burial, and claimed the family had previously agreed to a state burial in Zambia. The next court hearing is set for August 4, 2025, and both Zambians and the international community are watching closely. Legal experts across Africa are studying this case, as it could establish new precedents for presidential succession protocols and family rights versus state authority. But this case is about much more than legal details. According to Al Jazeera and the African Reset blog, the dispute reflects Zambia's deep political rift and mirrors broader challenges facing African democracies. The rivalry between Edgar Lungu and President Hichilema, after years of hard-fought elections and contested results, continues even after Lungu's death. Instead of bringing the country together, this burial has become another battleground for power and legacy. This pattern echoes across the continent, where former leaders' legacies often become political weapons. From Kenya's ongoing debates over Mwa's legacy, to Nigeria's complex relationship with past military rulers, African nations struggle to balance honoring former leaders while moving forward democratically. As the legal showdown continues, analysts say the case could set crucial precedents for how African nations handle presidential transitions and legacies. Will this establish new international legal frameworks for resolving such disputes? Could other African families seek foreign court intervention in similar conflicts? The implications extend far beyond Zambia's borders. The August 4th court decision will be watched across Africa, as it may determine whether families or states have ultimate authority over former presidents' final resting places, a question that could reshape continental political traditions. If you found this story compelling, hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more updates on African politics and global affairs. What do you think? Should a former president's burial be a matter for the state or the family? And could this South African court decision change how African nations handle presidential legacies forever? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.